one of the biggest launches of the past decade has been the Sig P365 line of pistols. Essentially, Sig introduced the striker-fired double-stack micro-compact pistol to the world in 2018. Deservedly, it absolutely took off. While there were some minor QC bumps in the initial run of production, I do have one of the first P365s in the country. I ran 2,500 rounds through it without cleaning it or lubing it. I think it got like maybe 1 or 2 failures to feed after almost a year. It was pretty incredible. Based on the success of the initial P365, Sig's expanded on this lineup with the P365XL, the P365X, and the SAS version. The original Sig P365 is an ultra-compact 10-round flush-fit 9mm with a barrel length of 3.1 inches. Then the P365XL came out shortly after that, just as good of a choice. While not as compact as the P365, it's got a larger grip to address some of the complaints about the P365 grip being too small. It's also got a slightly flared magazine well. That's extremely useful and a welcome addition, as well as optic readiness, so you can add a micro red dot. It's got a longer barrel, better ballistics, longer sight radius. Really, I think the 365 and the 365XL are two of the best concealed handguns out there for those of us who actually carry inside the waistband because we don't live in a godforsaken state where it snows half the year. Like your mom in college, Sig is not afraid to experiment. You know, get a little freaky. And boy, did they ever with this new version of the Sig P365XL, the Sig P365XL Spectre, I don't know. P365XL Spectre Comp. Right out of the gate, I have to mention, not a big marketing fluff guy, not a big Billy Badass spooky gun name guy, not a Punisher Skull fan, and I don't judge guns by the color of their metal treatments, but I will probably judge you for having a gun that looks like a Fast and Furious branded shifter knob you picked up from AutoZone. I like my automobiles stock, I like my jeans without fruity holes in them, and I just don't like guns in eye-catching colors, and I guess it's because I'm a boomer. If I had to, and I mean absolutely had to pick a two-tone gun, my desire to make a mockery of nature and bear Drew Brees' children means that I could live with black and gold. For that matter, while I would prefer all black, I have to concede that the Spectre really doesn't look that bad to me. The guys at my FFL called when this gun came in, and they thought it was just the coolest, best looking gun that they've ever seen, so I guess I'm the jerk here. Guys, I am really sorry that that was just like a solid 2.5 minute bitch fest over nothing, so let's cut to the chase. What's different about this gun from every other P365? Like the P365XL, the Spectre Comp comes with night sights, a flat trigger, the ability to mount an optic. But there are more things that are different with the Spectre Comp than the same. The Spectre Comp is a Sig Custom Works gun, which is like the Black Label or Premium Sig line. You get a certificate of authenticity and a Custom Works challenge coin, which are great for letting other P365 owners know that they're inferior to you and to establish your order in the P365 owner hierarchy as the first male to graze and to mate. It uses the XLG or laser engraved grip module, which has a bit of extra stippling, looks a little cooler. It's a $30 more expensive frame than the standard module. Similarly, it uses the Spectre slide, which costs you another $100 if you want to upgrade over the standard XL assembly, but you'll certainly note that the Spectre Comp has an integrated compensator. Comp. More about that in just a second. More or less, with the XLG frame and the Spectre slide, that's another $130 of value, but they don't really do much of anything except give you a little bit more aggressive grip area and slide serrations. I shouldn't say only because that's an upgrade that's worthwhile to many of you. It also comes with a titanium nitrided flat trigger and the titanium nitrided barrel, which you know I want to make fun of right now. However, true titanium nitride metal can be 2 times harder than untreated metal and will have increased lubricity. I bet 90% of you will buy it because it looks cool, but there are actual practical benefits of titanium nitride. At the time of filming, I've got conflicting info from Sig and their press release on whether or not this gun will come with 2 or 3 12-round magazines, but mine came with 2 or 3. I totally forgot. There are 2 in the box right now. I forgot if there was 1 in the gun. So I don't know. It's either 2 or 3. Now, one of the best features of the P365XL Spectre Comp is that it comes with dovetailed sights. The P365XL usually comes with a plate that when you remove it, also removes your rear sight. However, with the Spectre, your rear sight is still there even if you install an optic. Kind of a cool upgrade that I'd like to see across the XL line. Now let's talk about the barrel and the comp. The XL is not really an XL at all. It's more of a P365X. The standard P365 has a 10-round small frame with a 3.1-inch barrel. The standard P365XL has the 12-round frame and the 3.7-inch barrel. The 365X has the XL size 12-round frame, but the regular P365 3.1-inch barrel. Are you following me so far? For that reason, the P365XL Spectre Comp is more like an X because it uses a 3.1-inch barrel like the P365 and the X version. So yeah, with its longer slide, the Spectre Comp looks like an XL just from a 2-dimensional profile, and it's even compatible with P365XL holsters, but it has this longer slide because the slide contains the integrated 2-port compensator that Sig claims will reduce muzzle flip by up to 30%. Now, I'm skeptical of comps that aren't actually a part of the barrel, but I don't have any reason to believe that a slide comp won't work as advertised. I also have to mention that the main benefit of a comp that's actually machined into the slide, there's no part that you have to take on or off the muzzle before disassembly. It won't come loose and fall off. I've also seen barrel-mounted comps on barrel threads cause function issues unless you use hotter ammo because of that weight that inhibits the tilting of the barrel. The Spectre Comp has an overall length of 6.6 inches, an overall height of 4.8 inches, an overall width of 1.1 inches, a 3.1-inch barrel, and it weighs a mere 20.7 ounces with an empty magazine. I also outfitted this with the XSeries P365 by Surefire. If you're looking for a light that'll work with the P365XL Spectre, I think that this is the best one out there. Rechargeable battery, 30-minute runtime, 500 lumens, not the brightest light out there, but damn, it's cool. The first compensated P365 that I tried was the 365 SAS, aka the Coldplay of the Sig P365 line. I made a comment about the muzzle brake on it. Brakes and comps are like human babies. Loud, shoot hot shit out of them, and if they detonate in low light, the flash might take away your night vision. Now, I realized that I've just been saying that for years, regurgitating shit from magazines that I read when I was in high school without actually testing all this myself. So I finally undertook a little experiment. First, let's have a look at muzzle flash. Does muzzle flash coming out of a compensator actually deprive you of your night vision? Now, Sam and I set the mood in the range with some low light and some scented candles. I used the regular P365XL and some relatively low flash ammunition, just Sig's regular 115 grain target ammo. We also ran it with Fiocchi, which I find to be extremely heavy on flash. And the results surprised us for both. So we've got all the lights turned off in the range. We've got a little bit of backlight behind us. You'll see the target in just a second, but all we can see is like a silhouette. Here we're about, I don't know, maybe 25 feet away from it or so. We're going to shoot the 365XL Spectre Comp, and we're going to shoot it back to back with the regular 365XL to kind of see if there's any difference in terms of losing your low light visibility. Honest opinion.
Still softer shooting. You do have a little bit more flash, like vertically, but I mean, you still have that with the regular.
Did it affect your visibility at all?
No, no. I mean, put it this way, the comp is not a deal breaker.
Gotcha. I mean, you really can't tell that much of a difference. It's still, you still get muzzle flash. You're getting the same flash, it's just some of it goes up.
Correct.
We also ran it with Fiocchi, which I find to be extremely heavy on flash. I mean, that's just as bad.
I mean, actually, that was probably a little bit worse.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, basically we deduced that you pretty much have the same amount of flash with either gun. More just goes forward with the non-compensated barrel than with the compensated barrel. Bear in mind that the non-compensated barrel was also a little bit longer, 3.6 versus a 3.1. We genuinely couldn't tell the difference in terms of night vision, and it really didn't affect us. I guess I'm not going to quite say myth busted, but our experiment showed that it's at least an overstated concern. Now to test the hot metal discharge from the compensator. Why is this important? Well, let's say you fire the gun in a struggle, or if you're in a confined space, like if you're firing crossbody at like a carjacker while you're in the car. I've never had to shoot a carjacker or a crackhead, but I would guess, especially if you have your window up, you're probably going to put your gun like right here-ish, and shoot a couple rounds, I guess. You've got this muzzle right here in your face, and it's not helpful to have flaming gas and metal discharging at a 90-degree angle from your muzzle directly into your grill. To test this, I actually pulled up an article in a medical journal about alternative mediums for testing skin, and it turns out that onions, surprisingly, are a decent substitute for real human skin. So I had Sam hold the cursed lollipop over the P365XL Spectre Comp while I fired a few rounds of 9mm to see if there's any effect on it.
Just like you had when you were a kid at the fair. An onion on a stick. All right, here we go. Smell onion. Smells like a... Quite a bit of onion on the ground. I don't know what that means. And how does our onion look? I mean, you're the Cajun here, Sam. What do you think of that onion?
So this was the part that was getting contacted directly by the
how's it look?
Blast. I mean, it looked like it took out the outer layer, took off the outer layer. There doesn't seem to be any burns, but it definitely upset the surface just a little bit. I think it might hurt. It might be a little spicy, but I think you'd probably survive.
And even when you look at like the big chunks that came off, like it's no burn marks or anything that really looks that bad.
Holding it less than a foot from the break, it did enough damage to knock that dry layer of skin on the outer of the onion completely off, but other than that, it looked just fine. We then held the onion to the point where it was literally resting on the front sight. And there was a little bit of burning, but the parameters of that test are just ridiculous. That would be like firing a gun while it's pressed against your face, and I'm not sure that you would fare much better if you used a non-compensated gun and did that. But what about the performance of the comp? What did we find out at the range? Did it actually help?
Ready?
Shooting the Spectre Comp next to my standard XL, the guns are equally accurate. Sam and I are in agreement that the compensated model is actually just faster. While I found the P365 SAS unpleasant to shoot, and I don't really think that the compensator for it was all that effective, the sights weren't that great, completely different story with the Spectre. Even with the stock trigger, we were getting faster splits, we were staying on target. Sam and I both did a couple 6-shot groups for time.
Sam and I shot, I mean, you can really see the difference with Sam's. Like, he's got his, like 4 of them basically in the 10 ring, one here. That's with the Spectre Comp. And that's a real, and that was much faster than his regular XL group. This was slower and not as accurate. And then mine here, 1, 2, 3, 4, then 1, 2 kind of low, but a pretty good group, and it seemed pretty fast. I tried to shoot the XL at the same cadence, at the same speed. I'm really curious to see how that's going to shake out. But you can see 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, one of them right in the X. But also, to be fair, and I've got to mention this in the video, my Romeo Zero that I got like 2 years ago and I've never changed the battery on, it just died. And it's what we have on the XL Comp. So, you know, this is also with the benefit of using a red dot while this is irons.
I've only got one range session under the belt so far, but at this point I'm inclined to say that you will indeed get better, faster performance from the Spectre Comp, and I really enjoyed shooting this pistol. It was just plain fun, and I do like it better than the XL, at least on the range. Now the big question for the conclusion, street price on this thing, $1,200. Is it worth $1,200? For $1,200, you can either get 2 Sig P365XLs, or more sensibly, 1 P365XL, a Holosun 407, and a case of ammo, or you can get 1 Sig Spectre Comp. I'm not your dad. I'm not your accountant. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money, but I mean, it's kind of a tough decision, obviously. The compensator here, built into the slide, it's the main draw. It's surprisingly functional. Make no mistake, you're definitely going to get better performance out of the Spectre Comp than you will a regular XL. No question. The grip stippling's nice. The titanium nitride trigger on the barrel give you a little extra protection on some wear components, but I'm not sure any of you are going to like wear out a regular P365XL barrel, but not a titanium nitrided one. But you do have to bear in mind that this is also a barrel that's half an inch shorter than the regular P365XL. Yeah, it's cool that the rear sight stays in place if you install a micro red dot, but most micro red dots these days, like the Romeo Zero I have on here, are already coming with rear sights installed. Sure, it's got improved slide serrations as well, but to be totally honest, the upgrades on the Spectre Comp, other than the actual comp itself, give you marginal performance gains, but they're mostly cosmetic. I want my gun to look different than everybody else's type upgrades, dressed as performance upgrades that you're paying a lot of money for. I'm not trying to tell you to not get it. If you think this is the coolest looking gun you've ever seen, if you would have spent the money on contrast colored titanium nitrided parts, a custom slide, grip stippling, and of course the awesome compensator, and don't forget that challenge coin, then hell, buy it. I mean, in fact, it might even be a good deal when you crunch all the numbers if you're going to buy all of this stuff. But I think that's only going to be a small portion of the TFBTV audience. Bottom line is that this is a spectacular gun, and if I had to choose between the P365XL and the Spectre Comp, it's a no-brainer. But if I had to choose between 2 P365XL and the Spectre Comp, I might have to break out the calculator and figure out if it's really worth it to me. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Again, my name's James Reeves. If you like the content, please subscribe or consider supporting us on Patreon or Subscribestar. We don't take money from Sig or anybody else in exchange for positive reviews. We're independent because of you, because of your support on Patreon or Subscribestar. Plus, we also give away 4 guns a month on our Patreon and Subscribestar, so please get on there for more details about that. Thank you as usual to Ventura Munitions for sending the ammo we used in today's review, and thank you to Top Gun Supply, your online shooting sports superstore, where you can pick up one of these. But as usual, thanks a ton to you just for watching, and take care.